Do you have questions concerning planning a Disney trip? Ask them live on the show or submit them on our website at patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt with the DPI podcast. We have a really good show tonight. I'm going to go over some more of the announcements from D23. This time, we're going to talk a lot about Disneyland. We're also going to get through the news. We've got some news on some things that are starting construction. We're getting more permits, all that kind of stuff. So definitely going to have fun tonight talking some Disney stuff. So hang on and we'll get going with the show. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us tonight. It is August the 27th. Year is still just continuing to fly by. I've got to move over just a hair. I guess my camera doesn't want to find me today. But yeah, we've got a great show. We're going to talk a little bit of Disney news tonight. We're also going to talk a lot about the D23 announcement and a lot of the things that are coming to Disneyland over the next few years. Last week we talked solely about Disney World and everything that was going in there that was announced at D23. This week we're talking about Disneyland. Next week we're going to talk about kind of Disney Worldwide and Disney Cruise Lines. They did announce a lot for those entities as well, so we'll get into that next week. So definitely, if you are interested in some of the parks around the world, definitely check those out. A few milestones I want to thank you guys for. First is we got to 250,000 views last week. I want to thank you so much for helping us to get there. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the viewers, so if you guys ever have any questions, comments, anything like that, definitely put them in the comment section, hit them up in the chat. We love answering questions. We love helping people out, so anything that we can do to help you guys out, that's why we do this. Also, new subscribers. So over the weekend, Sumo Panda jumped on during our Lorcana stream and subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much, Sumo. Love talking to you while we were playing some games on Sunday. And then Verissa Thomas, yesterday, another subscription. Thank you, Verissa. Thank you for coming to the channel. Anything that we can do to help you out, just let us know. So yeah, so lots going on around the parks still. We've got news, we've got that kind of stuff. I've got a bug flying around me that is just driving me bonkers tonight. So if you see me like grabbing at something, I've got this bug. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, so we're gonna get into some news. I don't even think I'm gonna do the timer today. I don't know that I've got 15 minutes worth of news, but I've got enough news to where it's worthwhile to at least talk about it. So let's jump back a little bit to, let's see, August 21st, a little too far. No, that's about right. So Marvel Studios is reportedly considering a second season of Miss Marvel. I don't even know what to think about that with the announcement that The Acolyte wasn't getting a second season. To me, it's like kind of the same show, just in different IP universes. Yeah, just that one kind of boggles me. Just because it's, I really just didn't like it. I didn't feel like, now granted, they started including her in the movies and that kind of stuff, but yeah, it just wasn't great. Muppet Vision 3D removed from extended evening hours attraction lineup, fueling closure rumors ahead of Monsters Inc. land construction. There's a lot of speculation going on here with this project. I think the big thing that we have to remember is we're probably going to lose something. With all of these projects, they don't look like they're expanding the parks any other than Disneyland. Disneyland, they are expanding, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But when we're looking at the Magic Kingdom project, it's really looking like it's going to go right on top of where Rivers of America is right now, where Tom Sawyer Island is right now. When we look at the Monsters Inc. project, there's a couple of places that make sense. One is that animation courtyard area where the Star Wars launch bay is. The other one is where Muppet Vision 3D is. And then there's a third area, and it's kind of down like Pixar Place, where they're doing the meet and greet with Edna Mode. So if you remember where the old entrance to Midway Mania was, if you just continue down that path at dead ends, they could potentially put the Monsters Inc. area there. There is a building there and some room out to, like, beyond that dead end that could work. But this is just like, I think a lot of people are running with this Muppets 3D theory and just kind of taking it to town. We don't know where it's going to go until they shut something down and we don't hear about it. So, Avengers Campus, we're going to get into this a lot more here late in a little bit in the show. But Avengers Campus construction at DCA is set to begin in early 2025. Will require the removal of the backstage red car trolley barn. So this is a big deal for some people, because one of the things that Disney is taking away a lot of is the ambiance things, you know, like the Hollywood Studios street performers, like roaming characters, like the red trolley cars. That kind of stuff to some people means something. The Liberty Bell, Tom Sawyer Island. And I think no matter what you take out of the park, some faction of Disney fan is going to be upset by it. So really what you've got to figure out is what's actually going to be removed, and then what is actually going to stay or return in some different fashion. Could they move where the trolley barn is? Possibly. But what this means is that the area that is kind of behind the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Disneyland is where a lot of this construction is going to happen. And I thought it was going to be more on the other side of Avengers Campus. But we'll look at that a little bit later on as we talk about what is coming to Disneyland. Also, we got news on the Disney Destiny. This is the newest ship that will be ready in 2025. November 20th, 2025 is the first sailing. It is going to sail from Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. And it got to look at one of the new bars, which is going to be called the Cask and Cannon, inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean. So, again, we get another Pirates bar. So we're getting one at Magic Kingdom. Now we're going to get one on the Disney Destiny. This one is very much a themed down bar compared to the one at Magic Kingdom. You have maps, like almost like a map wallpaper on the ceiling. An old style bar, almost like you would see like a galley bar on a ship. And then some old world style seating and tables and that kind of stuff. So, looks kind of cool. Imagineering files permits for sound and video upgrades at Test Track and Epcot. It's a ride refurbishment. You would think that they would get upgraded sound, upgraded video packages. I think you're going to see more video screens in Test Track, which kind of stinks. It's going to take a little bit away from the ride, but I guess we're going to get what we get. Water park swap continues in early November with Blizzard Beach reopening at Walt Disney World. They've really handled this way since the reopening after COVID. Blizzard Beach is open for a while, and then it closes down for refurb, and Typhoon Lagoon opens, and Typhoon Lagoon's open for a while, and then it closes down, and then Blizzard Beach will be back open. Until they see a need to have both water parks reopened, which I don't know that there is that need. I don't know that you're getting these water parks close to capacity. They're not going to open both of them at the same time. So just, for the foreseeable future, we're probably seeing what they're going to do with these water parks in Florida. Now let's see if I've got anything else here. 10 minutes of news. Red Carl Charlie's. After hours events, dates and prices for 2025 were released. Events begin January 6th at Magic Kingdom, January 22nd at Hollywood Studios, and February 27th at Epcot. No discounts on the Magic Kingdom dates, but annual pass holders and DVC can save $30 per ticket on the Hollywood Studios and Epcot events. And they've got these through, Magic Kingdom through the middle of May. Hollywood Studios, they've got them out to early September. And then Epcot, they've got them through the middle of September. So, after hours events, really anywhere from about $135 to $185 depending on the night. 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., 9:30 to 12:30, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., or 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So really 3-hour after hours events for more than what you would pay for a not so scary ticket or something like that. So a lot less time for a lot more money, which kind of stinks. Yeah, that's not good. Red Trolley Cars, Disney Destiny. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is at Oogie Boogie Bash this year. They released information and kind of like a promo video for him out there. Ultron is coming up in the new Vision show that's going to be on Disney Plus. James Spader is going to return as Ultron. That's about it. Test track canopy removed for the reimagination of Test Track there. So yeah, that's about all the news that we have today. Honestly, a lot of the news that we're going to have over the next probably 6 weeks is going to be what's going on with permits and the starting of construction and that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be doing a lot of just rehashing things that we've already talked about for the sake of updates to that information. Now, I think what we're gonna also get is we're gonna get a little bit more. I'm not gonna say information because information's the wrong word. We're gonna get a few more things announced at D23 in Brazil, which is in November. So D23 Brazil is going to be... Stay tuned. Why will it not let me click on it? I don't know. It just says November right now, so. But I know that they've got dates. They've got to have dates. It's November. They're freaking 3 months away. They've got to have dates for it. D23, latest news, legend, blah, 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 blah. More news, recaps. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I guess we'll figure it out when we figure it out. But D23 Brazil is coming. I feel like we're going to get some more stateside news. I think there were a couple things that are low-key known that are coming to the parks that haven't been announced yet. So I'm interested to see if they actually announce those or if they're just going to hold off on them because they're not ready, like a night show at Animal Kingdom. So it's coming. I'm telling you right now, it's coming. Dronezios is doing it, so you'll thank me later. All right. So let's start talking about D23 in Disneyland, all the announcements that happened for Disneyland Park. And I think we're going to go with the screen here. There we go. Perfect. So D23, more information. So last week we talked about the Magic Kingdom offerings, everything from Cars Land to Villains Land to the new nighttime parade, everything that's coming to the Florida parks. Tonight we're going to talk about everything that's coming to the parks in California, Disneyland, Disneyland's California Adventure. And there was a lot announced. Disneyland next year is going to be celebrating their 70th anniversary. So we figured that we were going to get quite a few announcements when it came to that for Disneyland. And the first thing that we got was this. This came out, and this was an audio animatronic Walt Disney. So this is going to be at the Disney Opera House in 2025. If the Disney Opera House rings a bell, that is where Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is right now. And they are going to replace that for a while. So really cool. This is going to have a very similar mechanic. It looks like to Lincoln, where he stands up and he talks to the crowd, talking about his vision for the parks and the hope for the future and all that kind of stuff that it seems like Iger and DeMauro are killing right now. But it's going to be pretty cool. And then after the 70th anniversary celebration, they are going to rotate it with Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which will be really cool. I think being able to see both of those both of those shows, and I don't know how fast they're going to be able to change it. Excuse me. But yeah, it's gonna be neat to see how that works, because that you would imagine that backdrop is probably pretty easily changeable, and if the mechanics of the animatronics are very similar, it should be relatively easy to change those as well. So I don't know if it's just a skin that they're putting over Mr. Lincoln, or if they're actually going to create a new animatronic for both figures in those shows. So that was one of the first things that they announced. The other thing that was kind of right off the bat for them, and let's see where this opens up. It's opening up in a different program. So come on, there we go. Let's go over here and check this out. It is a Coco ride, and let's see if I can. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. This is going to be a log ride, and this is gonna be kind of cool. What I imagine this being is very similar to the Three Caballeros ride at Epcot, with much better theming. And when it does well, because it is going to be a smash hit at Disneyland, This is what they're going to end up putting in to the Epcot ride, or the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot. They'll just kind of change the routing and where the characters are in the ride. But this is something that we've talked about for a long time on the show, that if you're going to just dive into IP at Epcot, which they did with Frozen and bringing Turtle Talk with Crush, and then Ratatouille, and then, Guardians, you at some point you're just going to have to take the plunge and just kind of go all in and change everything over to IP based. Coco ride in the Mexico Pavilion, bring that Big Hero 6 roller coaster that you want into the Japan Pavilion. Those types of things they can do. There's room to put a boat ride in Germany. It's back there. It's ready to go. But yet we get these announcements. We get Epcot, still half of what they announced that they were going to do, they ended up doing. No Play Pavilion. No Cherry Tree Lane. No enhancements to Spaceship Earth. So, I think Epcot can play the redheaded stepchild card right now and say, hey, yeah, we got a lot done at the park. They got Guardians, they got Moana, they got the refresh of the entrance area and then the area behind Spaceship Earth. But I still think it left a lot to be desired. And who knows if they continue or bring those projects back. Nothing at Disney's ever dead. It's just shoved in a drawer somewhere and not done. At some point they could get into that drawer and say, hey, this was a great idea. Let's finally do it. So, who knows? Then we got into something that was already known that was coming, but we were waiting on kind of an official announcement, and that was the Avatar land that is coming to California Adventure. Now, a lot of people are already saying, hey, is this going to end up going where Wolf Mountain is? Wolf Mountain, Bear Mountain, Grizzly Bear Run is. They won't put it there. And I'll tell you this, and tell you why right here. It would ruin the sightline from Grand Californian. Absolutely ruin it. So they are not going to put it there. They will put this in the Disneyland Forward area, so this will be part of it. The Coco ride will be part of it. And I would imagine that we're going to get a little bit more on the announcement side as well. But for the most part, I think you're going to see this Avatar land, which is going to have another boat ride, and then you're going to have the Coco area. And I still think you get something additional here. I don't think Avatar is just going to be a one-ride land. I think there's going to be 2 rides there. And that's one of the things I think they announced at D23. Another one of the things I think they announced at D23 Brazil is the second attraction that goes into this land. So, yeah, I think you end up with 2 attractions here. I think you end up with the Coco ride, and I think you end up with probably 5 rides over in Disneyland Forward, which I'm imagining is going to be an extension of Disney California Adventure, but they really haven't come out and necessarily said. So we'll see how they handle that. So we have all these things that were announced, and then they announced, how about I go back to the screen? You don't need to see my desktop. The enhancements to Avengers Campus. So last year at D23 2023 at Walt Disney World, we got the concept for the King Thanos ride. This year we got the actual look at Infinity Defense. And this is going to be the new ride at Disneyland. Which is kind of cool because when I looked at this initial concept art, I didn't notice it, but you've got the ride entrance for Infinity Defense here. And then you've got the other ride that they announced over here. And the other ride that they announced was Stark's Flight Lab. Why does that not seem right? Hold on. Stark Flight Lab, yeah. I was right. And let's pull up the concept art for that. Bang. There we go. Flight Lab. And this is going to be a multi-directional ride where one of the Stark robots picks up your ride seat and kind of moves it through space. And it's going to give you that flight sensation, like you're flying through the lab, which is kind of cool. So those were the two rides that were announced there. And basically, Disney said, hey, this is going to double the capacity of Avengers Campus. It's not. It doubled the ride capacity, maybe. It doubles the footprint, or the ride footprint of Avengers Campus, but it doesn't necessarily double the capacity of Avengers Campus because they're going to be still building this within the footprint of what they've already got. You know, I think the only rides that are getting outside of that footprint are the rides that we're speculating are going into the Disneyland Forward project, and that would be the Avatar construction and the Coco construction. So definitely something to think about there. But yeah, a lot of things going in. The Thanos ride really looks like it could be a single car version of Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot. I think that makes a lot of sense. You could do the same kind of rotational axis to screens with a single car that has more rows. So that, think of like I don't know that it would be as big as a Tower of Terror car, but maybe like half of one. 4 rows of 3 or something like that. And it do kind of the same kind of maneuverability as Cosmic Rewind, if you've been on that ride. If you haven't, think roller coaster with a pivot axis on the car, and the car can rotate around that pivot axis. So as you're going up a track, the car can actually turn as it's going up the track. So interesting stuff coming out of Disneyland. Now, they didn't announce any new parades or shows or fireworks or anything like that, but with it being Disneyland's 70th anniversary next year, I would imagine that we're going to get a specialty fireworks show for the park, probably an update to World of Color, and then who knows what's going to happen with the Magic Happens parade. They keep bringing it back and then taking it away, and then bringing it back and then taking it away. Just bring it to Walt Disney World. I mean, it's a fantastic parade, but I don't know what they're trying to do. If they're trying to make it like scarce, so you get FOMO. But yeah, it's weird what they're doing with that offering. So yeah, it looks like we're going to get some construction out there in 2025. We talked about that in the news a little bit earlier, but the barn, the backstage barn area for the red trolley cars is going to be impacted by this construction. So the cast members for that ride have been notified that at some point in early 2025, that ride is going to go down for an extended period of time. Whether they're going to move that barn and reroute those tracks a little bit, or if they're just going to completely take that offering away, is yet to be seen. But it is going to impact that offering for a significant amount of time, I would imagine. Even if they just rerouted the tracks and put the barn somewhere else, that's going to take a while. So it's one of those things that you're getting something, they're taking away something else. Just get used to that with Disney. Until they make the commitment that, hey, we're going to open up some of the land that we haven't used in Walt Disney World yet, they're going to continue to try and build on the footprints of the places that they already have. New tower at Polynesian is where the old luau show was. Reflections was going to go on the river country plot. All of the new things announced at Walt Disney World are going in existing developed land. So it's just, when you do that, you're going to lose something. I mean, when they did New Fantasyland, they actually extended the park a little bit. This, they're not doing that. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they bought all that land in Walt Disney World for a reason. And maybe only Walt knows that reason. And without him around anymore, maybe nobody else wants to carry out that reason. But I think what we're seeing across all of the parks is a try, but not a success in most cases. So, I got into a conversation on Twitter last week about, really, since Galaxy's Edge, the only real success that's been at the parks has been Cosmic Rewind. Everything else has been a clone or a half offering or something like that. So, yeah. So 2025, we're going to be watching construction and kind of trying to keep you guys up to date with what's going to be under construction, what's going to be open, what's going to be closed, that kind of stuff around the parks. And then as we start getting closer to some of the openings, we'll have all the rumor mill stuff about when things are opening, when we're going to start seeing, our previews, whether it be D23 or DVC or annual pass holders or cast member, all that kind of stuff. We'll get all that information to you guys as soon as we have it. Oh, the other thing that we got was Bayou Adventure. So Bayou Adventure, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, under construction right now. The opening date is November the 15th. So if you are looking forward to that ride, November the 15th of this year is the expected opening date. Hopefully they iron out some of the stuff that isn't working well at the Magic Kingdom version, because it was down for most of the day again today. So, all right. With that being said, thank you guys all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show, sharing the show, liking the shows, all that kind of stuff that you guys do. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, no guests today, but we did get into the second episode of our D23 discussion about Disneyland this time. So check it out. Also, if you missed it, check out the one. If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the podcast, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side. If you want to get into a conversation about Disney, the easiest place to do that is on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, at Disney Insights. Also check out our Instagram and YouTube. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, liking, sharing, subscribing, everything that you guys do to support the show. I appreciate it. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Bye now.